What's going on YouTube? This is PsychoYajko. I'm going to be bringing you another video today, and I'm going to be talking about one of my top 5 favorite album art covers. I'm also going to be joining Jackal Goldkick, and I'm going to be joining Speardude21, and I'm going to be hearing what they have to say. The reason why I decided to create this collab video is because all of us listen to music every day in our lives, and not many of us seem to admire the album art as much as we admire the music itself. And I find that to be very sad and very depressing, because I'm a firm believer that pictures can paint 1,000 words. So here is how it all started. I just got finished with one of my work shifts at the radio station, and as I was heading out, I saw this strange CD album, and it looked really interesting to me, and I thought to myself, hey, I really need to talk about one of my top 5 favorite CD albums. And so this is what led up to me creating the video that I'm creating right now. Now, let's begin. Number 5 is Reanimation by Linkin Park. The album art cover has a lot to like here. I really admire the initial design of the robot that takes up most of the album's cover. It looks so fresh and original, yet at the same time, it does remind me of some of the recognizable franchises. It's like Gundam meets Transformers, yet it's not any of those franchises at all, which makes you wonder how the original creator came up with this design to begin with. It's so cool and badass. I'm also a huge fan of CD album art with grunge styles and textures to them. For example, the abstract background of the brown honeycomb with the black ink splatters enhances the picture's badassery. It's very sharp and edgy, and it leaves me in confusion, yet in marvel at the same exact time. Is the honeycomb supposed to be the sky? Or is the robot as seen in the image supposed to be indoors in a warehouse somewhere? It leaves me with this one particular question. Yeah, I still like to look at the album. That stencil font also looks cool. It looks lit with the orange tint and the letters N that are on backwards, and that itself is a plus. Number 4, Mezzanine by Massive Attack. The art cover for this album has some characteristics that make it likable. The main thing to focus on here is the picture of the bug that is in the image. The picture of the bug taking up more than half of the album at first led me to question what exact species of a beetle it was. I soon found out that it was just a stag beetle. But the main things that I like about this image are the beetle's jaws that take up a lot of the white background, which makes it look rugged and tough. I like how the original image isn't too bright and colorful. It's mostly black and white with slight gradients of gray, and the background too is white, and the text for the album is very simplistic, which makes me focus my attention to the details of the light and the shading of the insect, as well as the insect itself. It's very dope, it's very edgy, and yet it's so simplistic all at the same time. The creator, I think, did a really great job of making me pay attention more to the insect rather than the text that was used. Because I am a huge fan of a lot of scientific aesthetics. I have some eyewitness books that are very sciencey. I have a book of life, and I have a book of ecology, which are 2 of my favorite DK eyewitness books. I really like looking at all the pictures, looking at all the aesthetics, and so this is one of the reasons why I picked Mezzanine by Massive Attack as one of my favorite albums. So this album is another example of my favorite album covers. Number 3, Hot Thoughts by Spoon. This album cover creates a perfect blend between the uniqueness and creativity between the image that is on the album and the text that is used. While the background is white and not something that draws my attention, I draw my most attention to the picture of the head as seen in the image. I really do enjoy art with lots of psychedelic designs and concepts to it. The watercolor creates a disordered blend of bright colors, lots of red, lots of magenta, lots of green, purple, periwinkle, and black. The mixtures are arranged well enough so that I can see what's there. I can see the mouth, I can see the nose, and I can see the eye. A perfect blend that is well thought out. I should now talk about the font that was used for this album. I mean, the text is boxy, and there was a little to no holes or gaps in the letters where there should be. It makes it look very cool and very badass and very flashy, very surreal, or not surreal, psychedelic I should say, just a lot of psychedelic concepts to it. So with that being said, Hot Thoughts is one of my favorite choices of the album art covers. especially when it comes to having a psychedelic style to it, mostly due to its bright colors and how the bright colors in the watercolor are all thought out. Number 2, The Information by Beck. The cover art for this CD album I like for a good set of reasons. The text for this album looks like it was built out of Legos, which I think is really cool. I really like the transparent images that were chosen for the picture. Each individual picture on this album has their own cool set of traits, colors, and qualities that don't always add any logical sense, or that are just inappropriate, or have little to no context. For example, there's a transparent picture of a unicorn whose body has a starry night sky, and that unicorn is pairing another unicorn whose body has a background of a bright, sunny day with white clouds. It's very strange and very unique. What I even find very illogical and having no context is the PNG images of the steel balls, with one of them being distorted. The image of the mountains being lifted off the ground with a hole appearing below them looks awesome. The black triangle with white polka dots, which perfectly fits the shiny little sequins on the collar of the figure's dress suit. The picture of the tree with a pattern of triangles that make up for the upper half of the tree. I also appreciate the graph paper background. It really does a great job of adding to the image's abstraction. There is so much surrealism to the album cover, and I really like surreal art. And I even like to create some custom surreal imagery myself once in a while. So because of the album art's surreal imagery, The Information ends up being one of my favorite album art covers. Another great example of surreal art that I like is the album cover for the Crystal Method's Tweekend album. Judging by the image itself, I feel that an important message is being conveyed with the album art itself, and I'll be getting to that in a little bit. But to start, I'm very fascinated by the different gradients of the warm colors of the sky. There's a vibrant blend of pale yellow, lots of orange, scarlet, red. There's a rusty red smoke coming out of the smokestacks. The ocean waters have reflections of orange. Basically, a significant amount of colors which help add emphasis to the album's color palette. Now, getting into the message that I feel is being conveyed by this album that I want to talk about, I think what this picture is trying to say is that humans are the main reason why the planet is changing drastically. For example, trees are being cut down, forest fires are happening, fossil fuels are being burned, which release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which helps melt the ice caps, and then we wonder why there isn't enough carbon dioxide being converted into oxygen by these plants. How the message is conveyed is that the smoke is coming out of the smokestacks. The beach is littered with dead fish, while the woman is sunbathing, oblivious to what's going on, which I feel portrays the majority of us everyday humans that are so oblivious to the destruction that is being caused. And the dead fish itself are the same. It reminds me of Belgian artist Magritte and his image with humans falling from the sky, while wearing the same exact thing, having the same exact pose. Another good example of surreal imagery, but with very good messaging. So this is also why I picked the CD album cover. So, a quick recap. Again, I went over Reanimation by Linkin Park, Mezzanine by Massive Attack, Hot Thoughts by Spoon, The Information by Beck, and Tweekend by the Crystal Method. So, I've finally given my thoughts on what I've had to say about what my favorite album covers are. Right now we're going to be listening to Jackal Goldkick and hearing what Jackal Goldkick has to say. Jackal, the floor is yours.
What's up YouTube, it's Jackal Goldkick, and I'm here with PsychoYajko and Speardude21, and we're going to be doing a video collaboration talking about 5 fascinating album art covers. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Essentially, cool looking art on album covers is essentially what we're all three going to be talking about. So let's do this. So my number 5 choice is going to be Aura of a Supervillain EP by rapper Novi Novak that now goes by Rob Level. I've reviewed his album before. I got the album cover art. I'm gonna have the album cover art pulled up here on this phone, that way I can look at it and talk about it, because I can't remember it off the top of my brain. But number 5 choice is Aura of a Supervillain EP by Novi Novak. I really like this album cover art. I like the blue color that this cover art has. I really like the blue color to it, the way the text looks, especially how shiny the text is near Novi Novak. It's just a cool looking album cover art with some graffiti in the back, just this nice blue color to it. I like the silver color to the text. Novi Novak looks pretty cool in the album cover art with his arm coming up like this, and he just has this like blue aura around him. It's pretty damn cool looking, and I think it's definitely one of the coolest looking album cover arts I've seen. And I definitely like the cover art for Aura of a Supervillain EP. I love the blue look, I love the text, I love the silver kind of steel look to the title of the album. Novi Novak looks cool on there, his kind of arm doing this with the nice blue aura around him. It just looks fucking cool overall. I think it's badass cover art. So that's my number 5 choice. Aura of a Supervillain, just really cool album cover art. Really cool, like I said, nice silver steel look to the album name. The text looks good. I like the blue background. I like the graffiti in the background. Novi Novak looks cool on there with his arm like this. I like the blue aura around him. It just looks badass and it looks cool overall, and it's definitely a really good album cover art. Definitely distinctive, definitely very memorable, and I really like it a lot. It just looks really cool and it looks really badass. So my number 4 choice is going to be the 9 Lives album by Deuce. He's a rapper slash singer. Now this album cover art is really cool as well. I definitely like this cover art of 9 Lives by Deuce. I like the cemetery look it has. I like you got the bird on top of the cemetery, on top of one of the graves. I just like the cemetery look that this album has. Deuce looks really cool on this album cover art, just like pointing forward with this cool looking mask and hat, just cool outfit, and just him standing in the cemetery as sort of a it has this like creepy Halloween goth look to it. It just looks really cool, and I think the 9 Lives cover art is awesome. The text looks cool. I like the sort of Halloween goth look it has. He's in like a cemetery. He's standing in a cemetery pointing at the camera, and it's just really cool cover art. I think it looks awesome, and I think it looks really badass, and it's just very memorable and very cool cover art with Deuce in the cemetery with this goth Halloween look to it, and I just really like this cover art. It looks badass. On top of Deuce himself with his cool mask, but you got him standing in the cemetery with cool text. You got the looks like some kind of bird or something, looks like a vulture, I don't know, on one of the gravestones. It's just a cool album cover art overall, and I definitely really like it. It looks awesome. It's awesome. It's Deuce in a cemetery with like this kind of gothic Halloween look to it, kind of ghoulish look to the album cover art. I think it looks really, really cool. So that's my number 4 choice, 9 Lives. Badass album cover art, just really cool overall. Looks awesome. Deuce in a cemetery. The cemetery has a nice like goth Halloween look to it, and it just looks, you know, really cool overall, and it just looks badass, and I definitely like it. I like the look of this one. So my number 3 choice is going to be Knock Madness by rapper Hobson. So let me pull that one up. So yeah, number 3 would be Knock Madness by Hobson. This is another cool album cover art that I think looks really cool as well. This one looks pretty badass. It's pretty much like in the woods, and it's like Hobson and a grave being buried. I'm going to assume that it's Marcus burying him, since Hobson is like an alter ego to Marcus. So I'm going to assume that's Marcus in the picture. You got like a shot of someone standing up, and then Hobson's in the grave. This is a pretty cool album cover art. I like this one because it has a creepy like horror look to it. You know, you got Hobson in the grave about to be buried with his contacts in, and I'm gonna guess the person about to bury him is Marcus, you know, Hobson without his alter ego, and it's in the woods. It has this horror look to it. I like the text. The font has a creepy look to it, especially the letters Knock with the red letters on it. And it's just cool album cover art overall, and I definitely like the look of the Knock Madness album cover art by Hobson. Just has a nice horror look to it. You know, Hobson being buried in the grave, but I'm going to assume by Marcus, who is it's Hobson's real name, but Hobson's his alter ego. So I'm going to assume that's Marcus standing in front of Hobson about to bury him. It's just nice symbolism, nice contrast between Hobson and himself, Hobson and his real self Marcus, and just the look in the woods, the creepy feel it has, the horror look it has to the album cover art. I think it looks really cool. I think it looks really awesome, and it's just pretty good album cover art overall. and it looks pretty dope and pretty damn solid. So that's my number 3 choice, Knock Madness. Cool looking album cover art, and definitely think it looks badass. Just like the horror feel it has, being in the woods, Hobson in the grave, about to be buried. It just looks really good overall. So my number 2 choice is going to be Relapase Refill by Eminem. I think Relapase Refill, this is a really cool album cover art, and I really like the cover art for Relapase Refill. It's just really cool cover art. It really coincides with the album because when this album came out, this is when Eminem got off pills. Eminem had a pill addiction for a long time, and he finally got off his pills. By the time he got off the pills and he went sober is when the time he made Relapse. So it kind of coincides with him getting out of his pill addiction and throwing the pills away. And it's kind of the, you know, like the album talks about pills, talks about his pill addiction, and it's also kind of a horrorcore album. And it just fits really well with the whole pill aesthetic. And I just really like the album cover art where it's pretty much like Eminem's face, but it's created by a whole bunch of pills, and I just think that's a really cool concept, really cool cover art. I like the cover art and concept for Relapase Refill. The text looks cool. I like how it goes for kind of this prescription drug kind of font lettering for the album cover name, and then I like the cover art itself where it's Eminem's face but made out of a bunch of pills. It's just really cool, and I think it looks really nice, and it just makes a lot of sense because Eminem released this album when he got sober. He had a pill addiction, and I think this cover art just makes a lot of sense. I think it's really cool cover art. I think it looks just really awesome, you know, and I just like it. It's a good album cover art overall. It makes a lot of sense, and I just like it overall. The whole prescription drug thing with the text, Eminem's face being created by all these pills, you know, it looks really cool, as well as like the red kind of reddish look the cover art has. Even the original Relapse cover art looks cool as well, but I'm specifically focused on Refill since that's like the pretty much the best version of Relapse because it has all the songs for the most part. So yeah, that's my number 2 choice, Relapase Refill. Really cool album cover art. I like the prescription drug aesthetic of the text, and Eminem's face made out of a bunch of pills looks pretty cool as well, and it just coincides with the album's themes of being horror-like, talking about, you know, his pills, his pill addiction, things like that. Really cool cover art, and I definitely like this one a lot. So that's my number 2 choice. My number 1 choice is going to be Hellbilly Deluxe, the first album by Rob Zombie, the first Hellbilly Deluxe by Rob Zombie. This is some really badass looking cover art, and I definitely like this cover art. I would say it's my favorite album cover art that I've seen in music. It just looks awesome. It's Rob Zombie on the cover art looking like a zombie pretty much to coincide with his name. He's got like this X on his forehead. He's got these yellow eyes. He's got this nice green color on him, this nice red background. Just this creepy, ghoulish, goth, horror, Halloween-looking album cover art by Rob Zombie that just looks cool overall. His yellow eyes, his red X on his forehead, you know, he looks like a zombie pretty much to coincide with his name. Got this green color to him. He got this nice red background. Got this nice text with the name himself. And it's just cool album cover art overall, and it really fits with the aesthetic of the album with songs like Super Beast and Dragula, and musically, the cover art just fits the album a lot, and it's just really cool cover art. So that's my number 1 choice, Hellbilly Deluxe by Rob Zombie. Just really cool album cover art. I think it looks awesome. You know, like I said, the red color in the background looks nice. The text has this nice, creepy font to it. You got a satanic symbol on there that goes well and looks nice with it. Rob Zombie looks awesome on the album cover art. He looks like a zombie with these yellow eyes, red X on his forehead, the green color to him. He just looks badass overall. I just think it's a badass cover art overall, and I really like this one. It's creepy. It looks awesome. It looks crazy, ghoulish, you know, Halloween looking, and Rob Zombie looks like a zombie on the cover art, and it just looks really cool overall. I think it's just awesome cover art, and I think it's solid overall. So that's my number 1 choice, Hellbilly Deluxe by Rob Zombie. Really cool looking album cover art. It just looks awesome, and it looks badass. I like how Rob Zombie looks like a zombie on the front cover, and it's just cool. Very memorable. Definitely my favorite album art cover. My favorite fascinating album art cover, I'd say. So that's my 5 choices. Like I said, number 5, Aura of a Supervillain. Number 4, 9 Lives. Number 3, Knock Madness. Number 2, Relapase Refill. Number 1, Hellbilly Deluxe. So that's really all I have to say in my part. Shout out to PsychoYajko for coming up with this idea. It's a pretty cool idea. I like music, and, you know, it's fun to talk about some cool album cover art, because there's definitely some badass cover art out there for a lot of albums. These were my choices. Let us know what your choices are in the comment section, what you think are some cool album cover art. Like I said, this was a collaboration video with me, PsychoYajko, and Speardude21. That's all I got to say in my part. for 5 fascinating album art covers. Peace.
So this has been Jackal Goldkick. He's finally given the chance to give his thoughts about what his favorite album art covers are. We're now also going to be moving on to Speardude21 and hearing what he has to say. Speardude21, the floor is yours.
What's up YouTube, this is your boy Speardude21, and we're gonna be listing off our top 5 favorite album covers with art that looks cool to us. So let's just get right on into this good shit. Number 5 for me is the album cover to Kanye West's 2007 album, Graduation. I know Kanye West is a huge damn sellout nowadays because most of his newer music is complete shit. But back in the day, when he did albums like Graduation, Late Registration, The College Dropout, 808s and Heartbreak, and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, he used to make a lot of dope-ass music. And I just really love his album, Graduation, and I think the art on the album cover looks very cool and badass. I also did research on this album and the album cover, and this is what I found out about it. With further analysis, however, the album depicts a moment in life when you are finally, for good or bad, on your own upon graduating college. The cartoon theme, though, allows the art to exaggerate the transition by literally showing the main bear character being shot into a new life and out of his comfort zone. I think this album has a very good concept to it, and the album cover really suits the message of the album. And number 4 for me is Doggy Style by Snoop Dogg. This is Snoop Dogg's debut album from 1993. And it's for sure a damn great album. And it's probably the best album that Snoop Dogg ever made. I also did research on this album and the album cover. And I found out that the album cover of this album helped shape album art in hip-hop. It took album art in hip-hop to a whole new level. So not only this album is iconic, but the album art on the album cover is also iconic. And I just really love this album and the album cover of it. Number 3 on my list is Atonement by Killswitch Engage. This album came out in 2019, and it's by one of the greatest metal bands of all time, Killswitch Engage. I love Killswitch Engage, and I think they make dope-ass music, and they for sure had some very cool, badass art on their album cover to Atonement. And number 2 on my mother effing list is Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. This album came out in 1987, and I just really love how all the members of the group are portrayed as skulls in the album cover, and the text on the side that say Guns N' Roses and Appetite for Destruction also add another cool, badass touch to the album cover. This album is so fucking amazing, and the album cover is also fucking amazing. And I just really love this album and the album cover. And last but not least, my number 1 favorite album cover with art I think is cool is Dangerous by Michael Jackson. This album came out in 1991, and I also did research on the meaning of the album cover, and this is what I found. The name Michael Jackson on his eyes gave way to a huge theatrical mask that seems to want to cover everything. From that center dominates the scene perfectly. Eyes and perfect eyebrows, with a small lock of hair falling from his forehead, and brown skin, make the perfect ornament for domination. On a ferry appears the head of a monkey, about to be crowned. It is his chimp Bubbles, who was rescued from a cancer research facility back in 1985. It's noteworthy that all of the work environment is practically covered by animals. Right in the center are grouped various animals. A peacock, accurate representations of glamour and gorgeous, as is usually the entertainment world. An elephant with a number 9 on the front, as that number next to 7, the most prominent in numerology, a rhinoceros, a walrus, and so on. On either side of Michael's eyes are 2 faces of clowns with bonnets. Both represent the circus, but also the theater, and who are in the classical view of theater performance. One crying and one laughing. 2 musical cherubs appear on both sides of a star of good fortune, announcing the sound and music. A prehistoric man, perhaps a warrior tribe, is an obsession for Michael Jackson. In his hands accompanies this great concert with 2 dishes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. This is such a damn great album cover and album. And this was my list of my top 5 favorite album covers with art that I think looks cool. And that is all I gotta say. So, yeah, that's that's all I gotta say. So, peace out, everybody.
So, I guess that is it. Thank you all of you for watching this video. I hope all of you like this video. If any of you guys have any top 5 favorite album art covers that you guys like yourselves, feel free to share in the comment section below. Please share your thoughts on this video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more videos. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, stay safe, peace out, and I'm out.
Bye, have a great time.